Yo, what's up guys? It's SnapBC, and today I'm going to be telling you all how I went from 32 to 3300 all the way to Masters. So essentially, this is how to go from any rank, probably like Platinum or Diamond mainly, but you know, how to climb to Masters, right? This is what you need to like gain mainly if you want to be Masters. And you know, obviously like aim, positioning, and game sense, you all need to an extent, right? When you're playing, but you want you need like more of that in addition to other skills. So yeah, I'll tell you guys what I mean later in the video, and let's number one, what you want to do is you want to focus on your own gameplay. Now, obviously you can provide your teammates with suggestions if they need them to improve. But other than that, if you're constantly focusing on your teammates' mistakes, it's going to not only make you tilted, but make your teammates tilted, which isn't good for team morale. So, because of that, that's why I say to focus on your own mistakes, because no one's gonna improve if they just constantly blame their team for everything. You always want to blame yourself first. Like, don't necessarily like think, oh, you know, I'm bad because this happened, but how can I improve from what happened, right? Or how can you improve from what happened in your game? So just take that mindset into competitive or quick play or whatever you want to improve on, and you know, it'll really help you pop off, because it's like you can't to most extents you can't control what your team does, right? It's like they're their own player, so just focus on yourself, try to improve. And that kind of leads into tip number 2 to improve and focus on yourself. A lot of that is actually watching your replays back, right? So that can be through, you know, as it states, the replay feature in Overwatch, or it could be via just, you know, playing, like just thinking of a play that you just made in the game and thinking, oh shoot, how could I have done that better, right? Or thinking, I did that right, and why did you do that right? And just like keep trying to maximize the effective plays that you make and minimize the plays that you make that aren't so good. So tip number 3 is just play the game more. You know, practice, be consistent. People aren't going to improve if they don't play the game, and that's just how it is. It's like players sometimes want to like improve without putting the effort and time in, right? But often, if players want like long-lasting skill and not just, you know, maybe winning like 2 games one day, they gotta play the game more. They gotta play consistently, and you know, just that doesn't necessarily mean to play like 12 hours straight a day, right? Because then you're gonna have burnout and you're not gonna have fun playing the game. You're gonna be really tired, right? But like at least try to play a few hours each day to try to improve. And also too, doing stuff in queue helps. If you're not, you know, like exercising in queue or like getting water or whatever, play Overwatch. Just focus on maybe if you're a DPS player, you can practice your aim. If you're a support, you know. Actually, you know what? On any role, it's good to like improve your aim or just like mechanics in general. But so you can just like hop into practice range, practice as a character, or just like practice your tracking as someone like soldier or tracer. But yeah, all right. Tip number 4 is to join voice chat. Learn how to provide comms to your team, and in doing so, you will, like, you know, enable your team to make better plays and to play to your playstyle. Now, as previously stated at the beginning of the video, backseat gaming and just like hard or heavily fixating on what your team is doing, it isn't good for team morale, and it isn't good for it's not going to be good for like you as a player. So what you want to do instead is just provide comms that are constructive, but also are constructive and help your team, but also like they help with the issue at hand. And if that doesn't happen, then you know a lot of times like games are lost because players sometimes communicate like out of being tilted, which isn't good, because people need to communicate from a position of trying to help someone or trying to help just a team overall, rather than saying, oh, my team's bad, you know, they need to do this and this and this. So be optimistic, try to help your team, right? If people are being toxic, you know, mute them and don't be afraid to bite back, right? You know, but yeah, there's teammates of like all types of skill, and you need to be aware of that before hopping into competitive, because it's like you need to be self-reliant. And yeah, so just try to provide good communication, don't get tilted with your team, and try to keep team morale up. You know, that helps a lot. You know, not only with just calling that someone's low or that you gotta pick or what ults people have, which is all important, right? But
got you in my sights.
Keeping team morale up, like always trying to be nice to your team, muting those who are toxic, and even if you lost the game, you know, and this will sound cheesy to some, but you can win in spirit. So the next tip, which is actually a good segue, is to be self-reliant. Sometimes, like I said, you do have those bad teams. So what you want to have, right, is you want to be able to know that you can be able to carry a game, right, or enable your team to carry. You know, like some roles or some players enable their team to carry a game rather than just carry the game themselves, which in a way is carrying. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but it's like if you're really good Ana, right, and you enable your DPS to push in and you have like good nanos, then you're kind of enabling people to carry while also carrying yourself. It's kind of like a weird concept, but hopefully you guys get what I mean. And it's like you have to be aware that, like, you know, again, not every game you're gonna get good teammates. So work with what you have, right? And don't think that like every time like your team's gonna be trash, because that's not true either. But just come into competitive or whatever you're doing with an open mind. If you want to win, and just think that, you know, you'll win the game, you'll have fun, and you'll try to improve, right? So my next tip, I don't know what tip this even is. I believe it's tip number 5 or 6, but let's just say tip number 5 is that you want to watch players at a high level play. So I'm not just talking about, you know, watching your favorite, you know, like diamond YouTuber play the game, who only plays like once a week, like one quick play game a week. It's not just that. Don't do that, right? You can do it sometimes, but if you really want to improve, you gotta watch high level players play, specifically on the hero that you want to get better at, and preferably Overwatch League players, because they play at such a high level, right, that you can learn the most from them. Or like even like contender players too are good, or like ex-contenders players. So like some of the players that like I watch, for example, to improve, there's this guy named like OW Carter, right? He's a hit scan player, right? Some people kind of know him as a quote unquote like Widow one trick, but essentially like he's really insane, you know. He's a good dude, and he tries his best to deliver good content to people. And you know, because, and you can not only pay attention to their gameplay, but the way, like how their mechanics are. So for example, like the way that they move, the way that they aim, you know, just trying to mimic that. An example of this actually working for someone is Jay Jonak. You guys may know him from the New York Excelsior. He's an extremely good Korean support player. If he's ever streaming and you play support, or just like in general, like I highly recommend you guys check him out. And he, back before he was in Overwatch League, I believe, or like at the start of it, he watched Ryu Jae-hong, right? Ryu Jae-hong was his idol, and you know, obviously Ryu Jae-hong is still good, right? But it's like now they're like different players, but like back in those days, like he dominated super hard, like Oz, Ana, and Zen. Like he was so good, like especially Ana, I think. And like because Jay Jonak watched his gameplay and tried to mimic it, and just kept on grinding, he like gained a similar skill level, and debatably now he's better than Ryu Jae-hong. So it's like try to emulate those players and what they're doing, but know like that what they're doing is for a purpose, and try to think about that in your game or while you're watching them. Additionally too, the players that you're watching doesn't have to be for the role that you're on, but you can also watch players on like a different role. Like let's say you're a tank player, you can watch a support player to better understand how your supports are thinking, right? Or like what your supports want from your team, or like what they need to do to win, which you can sometimes suggest to the team. Don't suggest, you know, too much obviously, but yeah. Anyways, the next tip is that just when you're losing games, just take a break. Don't be afraid, right? If you're tilted, if you're burnt out, if you're tired, you know, don't think you continuing to play will be good, because it won't be good for your mental health, right? And it won't be good for your teammates, right? Because if you're tilted, then often your teammates will follow, right? So like if you are in voice chat, which another like small tip, you should join voice chat, like always. Even if you're in like a Discord call with someone, like just join the voice chat. It helps so much. Like it wins so many more games if you're in voice. But just the last tip, or second last, is to know the meta, right? You have to know which characters are good and why they're good, right? So you can learn those characters better, or continue to play the characters once you've already learned them, right? And a lot of that comes with watching players again at a high level, so you can see not only how they play the characters, but why they play those characters and when they play those characters. So in competitive, or in Overwatch in general, it's like heavily strategy based, right? Despite being an FPS, so there's different metas, right? And not all characters are good, so you need to be aware of when your hero is good, when your hero like isn't good that you're on, and maybe a character that you can pick to enable your team to do better, right? So for example, you could go like a McCree to peel for your Ana if your Ana's constantly getting dove, right? You can go like I guess if the enemy team has a Zenyatta, you can maybe go Tracer if you're competent with it. But you know, you always have to know when. Like just analyze the situations that you're in, so that way you can again maximize your value. So the last tip, right, is to sub to my channel. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, the last tip is to just, and I know this sounds really obvious, right? But just care about what you're doing, and that applies to actually all the tips. So like care about the gear that you have, like get good gear, right? Like that's also like a really good tip in and of itself. But this is kind of like in-game tips, so yeah. But keep that in mind. Like you want to get better gear. You want to get, if you have a 60 hertz monitor, you want to get a 144 hertz monitor. You want to like upgrade your computer if possible, like get a new one, or just trade the parts out. But often if you're on like a slow computer, it's just better to get a new one. Try to avoid laptops too, because like laptops are like super expensive, and often they're not faster than regular computers. So just get like a regular computer. You know, upgrade your mouse, upgrade your keyboard, right? Care about like your sensitivity. Like don't try out new sensitivities just like for fun, right? But do it for like a purpose. Yeah, just, you know, put like care into what you're doing. Like just think about like why you need to do something, right? And when you need to do it, right? Like that again applies to a lot of the tips in the video. But sorry, I'm going on a tangent. Just, you know, if you don't truly like know why you're doing something, or like believe that it's important, then often you're not going to put as much like value into that said thing. So you always want to like actually want something enough to be able to achieve it, but also like work towards it. I don't know, it's kind of like a balance. That was a tangent, but yeah, like just again, care about what you're doing, whether it's you know, like an aspect of the game such as like game sense, positioning, aim, caring about your gear, caring about your calls in game, you know, and that can apply to like a lot of things in life if you want to be honest. So yeah, personally I'd say that's the best tip on the list, but you know, take that how you will. So anyways guys, I really hope you all enjoyed the video. I love you all, thank you for watching, and yeah, take care guys, peace out, you know, stay safe, these are hard times, and yeah, peace out guys, I love you all, thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed.